What's up guys, this is Miasin. So today I'll be covering a bunch of cards that I think are very important to get your hands on right now because I think they have a lot of potential for the future. They will probably go up in price, and some of them they have already proven to be quite good in the current format actually. Just a matter of time before people start picking up on them, and some other cards don't really exist yet, so it's really just you gotta, some decks, they kind of exist, but they're not really good yet, so you might still get, like, the cheaper cards while they're still cheap, instead of, being very late to the hype train and everything. But yeah, anyways, before we go any further, you already know the drill, smash the like and subscribe button, and now let's get right into it. Alright, so the first card or cards that I wanted to go over would be the Angel Statue as Aaroon with the top hat here, the Silhouette Magician. I've already made like a full video on these cards and how top hat here can really only get Aaroon as the only real good target. Like, there are some other cards that you can play, some other trap monsters. Quite frankly, they all suck. So honestly, I think Aaroon is quite literally the only good one. It's a Black Horn of Heaven, so kind of like a Solemn Warning. And if you destroy it, the monster that kills it dies. So everything about it is nice. And the fact that it's a Link 2 that gets 2 interruptions on its own, because when you special summon your trap monster, you get to destroy a spell or trap card your opponent controls. And the other cool synergy, I guess, with top hat here and the Snake Eye deck is that even if you're not summoning a trap monster, since you're still summoning, let's say, something off of Flamberge or something off of Divine Temple, you're still technically triggering, you're still summoning a monster from your spell and trap zone to your monster zone, so that still allows you to trigger its effect. Same thing with the Centurion monsters and everything. So there can be some nice synergy in a lot of decks. And sometimes when you get you get hand shot multiple times, this can be your ultimate backup plan. So it's a very nice package for that reason. And it was played in Aditya's deck, which of course he managed to get first place at the NAWCQ. So that already speaks volume on how good it really is. Another card I think is really slept on, but I've also made a video on this one, and also its older brother, Dominus Impulse. So this card is Dominus Purge. You can't use dark, water, or fire effects from anywhere for the rest of the duel after you use it from the hand as a hand shop, because it is technically a hand shop if your opponent controls a card, which he's always going to do. And this card negates the effect of anything that would try to search a card from the deck to the hand, which is of course extremely good, or even draw cards. That's kind of nice. You can negate like pod cards, or you can negate honestly everything. This card is basically a second Ash, and this card is also kind of like a second Ash, but instead of negating things that search from deck to hand, it negates things that special summon a monster. So it's a little different. But this card can negate Branded Fusion, and you can't use Light, Earth, and Wind monster effects for the rest of the duel after using Dominus Impulse. I've made a full video on these two cards if you guys are interested. It should be pretty easy to check. I've uploaded them recently. Dominus Purge, I think the video was like 2 weeks ago, and this one was super recent because the card was announced recently. But both of these cards are good, and you really want to look into decks that can definitely play these two cards. Because this, you can only really play it in a Light, Earth, or Wind deck, and this in the exact opposite. So yeah, they're like counterparts, so obviously if you can play one of them, you can't play the other one. But still, if you want to make, I guess, an investment for the future, maybe get your hands on 3 copies of each, I think this is already a secret, and this one is definitely going to be a secret. And it's going to have a lot of value if there's ever a deck that can abuse these cards. So the first deck I want to say for Dominus Purge, or rather just in general that might be good over time, would be the Battle Wasp deck. So this deck is really complicated. It reminds me a little bit of how Blackwing plays, by placing the continuous spell from your deck to your field, and then you keep getting searches over and over, and you can also bounce it back and then get even more searches. But instead of like Black Whirlwind, it's a new card that is really good in Battle Wasp, even though Battle Wasp is, still an insect deck. It's not like it has the most toolboxy extra deck. And there's also no maxi in the TCG, so it's not like you can search an unfair win condition. Despite that, there might still be potential just because you can get so many searches off of, one single card. So I think this deck really just gets better over time from here. So might want to look into getting the cheaper cards for the Battle Wasp strategy right now. The Melodies deck is not getting better over time, but it's definitely not getting worse, and people are just gonna keep forgetting that this deck even exists. If there's ever a handshot format, which means always, Melodies is gonna be extremely good. Melodies honestly is only really bad when there's board breakers running around, but in Rage of the Abyss, which is the next core set, we're gonna be getting Mermails, and Mermails is a deck that prevents the meta from being a board breaker meta, because it's gonna hand loop you with Mool and Glacia. So in other words, you have to play hand shops if you want to beat Mermails, but since you're playing hand shops, they have very low impact against Melodies, so the existence of Mermails makes Melodies better. That's at least the way I interpret it, because Mermails is for sure going to be seeing a bunch of play. either by the casuals that just enjoy the deck because it's a really fun deck, or the old school competitive players, or the actual new competitive players that actually think it's a good meta call. I think myself that Mermails with the new support is extremely good. I think it's a tier 1 deck if you know how to build it and play it correctly, which I don't necessarily would say I'm that great with because I started playing the deck very recently. But again, sometimes like an older deck gets better because like a newer deck gets introduced that allows it to be good. For example, Runic Stun is a good deck because, you know, all the decks right now that are being played, they just have a tendency to completely lose the floodgates and everything. Whereas if it was like a control format of like Sky Striker, mirrors and everywhere and everything, Runic Stun would be completely unplayable. Anyways, next up is Magical Musketeer, which I think will be getting drastically better over time. A bunch of reasons for that. First of all, this utilizes the Fiendsmith engine, which also gets more support with the Lacrima, the Scarlet Sorrow, and the Agnes Day, so the Link 3 monster, which is really cool. And this does not use Beatrice. So if Beatrice ends up getting banned, you're not going to feel, you know, that much of a nerf. Actually, you're not going to feel a nerf at all because you're really just playing like almost an Unchained deck with the Magical Musketeer deck when you're going first. So you make Unchained Soul of Rage with Caesar, if I recall correctly, with like 1 or 2 cards. So yeah, it's very easy to do. The deck is really fun. It's really good going second. And you don't play hand traps at all, and you can play just board breakers because your deck is just good going second. Your Link 1 monster is, unfair. So if you can prevent your opponent from responding with something like, I don't know, Link to the Brains, shoutouts to Christian Arena, this deck can be very nice. I'm probably going to make a video on Magical Musketeer if you guys are interested. 1,000 likes and I'll make it happen. But yeah, very good investment for the future. The Fiendsmith engine I think is a good investment, but not a great investment because Beatrice is definitely going to have to get banned because of the Fiendsmith engine, but I don't think they're going to be banning that much. Maybe Fabled Lurie banned, but it's not like the card can go to 1 because it's just a 1 of, and the Fiendsmith going to 1 is still good. They could ban Moon of the Close Sky, but it's really stupid because it just means that they can't print Light Fiend monsters for the rest of the existence of Yu-Gi-Oh! So I don't think it's correct. They might as well just solve the issue of banning Beatrice once and for all because that card just does not deserve to exist. Well, I mean, it does, but it should be restricted to Burning Abyss only. So obviously if the card can get an errata to be only good or only like playable in Burning Abyss, then sure, but yeah, it just, I don't know. And also if the card could also get like an errata to its name and be, I don't know, Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal Burning Abyss, that would be kind of sick, you know. I'm trying to let my other Burning Abyss survive while Beatrice is on the field, but obviously knowing Konami, that's never gonna happen. Anyways, XYZ ABC deck, that deck is also very good. It does utilize Beatrice, so obviously if Beatrice gets banned, it's gonna be very unfortunate, but yeah, it's a good deck. You can play a lot of hand traps, a lot of one-card combos. It religiously beats hand traps. You can beat like Imperm Nib even, regardless of how they're used. I made a full spreadsheet video on this deck, so again, if you guys are interested, you already know where to go. Galaxy Ice Photon deck, very good deck, and it's another deck that can kind of play Dominus Purge. I mean, all those decks in this row, they can also play, they can all play Dominus Purge because they're all light-based attributes. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say. The Blue Eyes deck, there is not much to like invest on right now. It's not like ABC and Galaxy Eyes where you can buy the cards that already exist as of now. They're both like, I mean, they're all super cheap. Like ABC is worth literally nothing. It's super budget. You don't need anything that's worth anything other than, I don't know, it's like staples, generic cards. You don't even need SP Little Knight. That's just to give you an idea of how budget ABC is. Because you're locked under light effects anyways after you use the effect of your X, Y, or Z monsters. So you would have like that SP Little Knight that you can never summon anyway, so it's fine. And yeah, I don't really know what to say about Blue Eyes. Oh, this engine, I think it will also boost the Dragon Link, the Metal Morph engine. So yeah, I don't know if you want to buy Dragon Link. I don't think it's that great of an investment, so honestly, maybe like try to stay far away from it. No, not really, actually, it's not too bad, but it's just also like more bricks in your deck. Maybe it's just like, it's better in like a mid-range version instead of a combo version. I don't know, I'm not 100% sold on it yet. Dominus Impulse, again, a card that I've explained, very nice with Dominus Purge, so anything that's that revolves around it, anything that can play it is definitely destined for success in the long run. The Shark deck is going to be getting insane support in Rage of the Abyss, obviously, right, because we already had our big share of good fire decks as of now. Now it's time for water decks to surface back into the metagame. So yeah, Shark is going to be very good once we get Rage of the Abyss. Yeah, Mermail, same thing. If you can get some Mermail cards right now, like Neptibus, or you don't need Deep Sea Diva, you can get Dragoons right now. Also for the high rarity cards, because I know some Mermail players, just like hero players, they really like maxing out on the rarity. And I think this is one of the very few decks where you can get like so many ultimate rares in the deck. It's actually nuts. Yeah, I don't know how expensive the full Mermail deck is, max rarity. You guys let me know in the comment section. It might be over like 3 grand or something. It's probably a lot of money. Anyways, Memento is also getting new support, but it can't play Dominus Impulse, so I don't know why it's there. The attributes are all different. It's like Earth, Dark, yeah, that's about it. And also this card is Water for no good reason. So maybe Earth Dark means that you can play, no, definitely not this one. And not this one either, obviously. If you can't play one, then you can't play the other. Actually, no, that's not true. If you can't play both, then, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you have, like, the 2 attributes that are listed on each of the cards, so it's really unfortunate, but it is what it is. I don't think this deck gets, like, any new real insane support, but it can play the Fiendsmith engine really well. But, again, it does utilize Beatrice, which is a little unfortunate, because sometimes you want to send, like, the Fusion so that you can start your engine with basically just no Memento cards. Very good deck, though. You shouldn't sleep on Memento. It has a lot of potential, and people are still unaware of what you can do in the deck. Goblin Biker, yeah, this deck is... I don't know, it's really weird. It's kind of like a 3-axis deck that just kind of went wrong somewhere for no good reason. I expected it to be, like, so much better than what it turned out to be, so it's kind of like a disappointment. But the new support is honestly really good. Like, all the new cards are insane. So if the deck flops after the new wave of support, I don't know what to say. I'll be extremely disappointed, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think the deck should be getting a drastic boost. So if you want to get your hands on the deck while you still have the time, then, you know, it could be a good investment. But again, Goblin Biker, I used to believe in it back in the days. I was like, yeah, it's a really insane deck. It's going to compete with the meta. I can play a lot of hand traps. It's a really decent combo deck. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just not to the play. But anyways, we also have like some, I don't know, like a new staple that might, I mean, not necessarily a staple, but like a free agent tech card that you can play in like any light or dark deck. But it's very scary with Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. So this card is Chaotic Allure Queen, and it has, like, just every effect of this card is broken. So you can discard another light or dark monster in your hand, special summon it from your hand, and then on the field has an ignition effect. You can target one monster in either graveyard, equip it to this card, and if you do, this card's name become that monster's until the end phase. So that's already very good, but it gets even better. Then, if it is a light or dark monster card, you can special summon one Dark Allure Queen monster from your deck or grave. So not only can you use this as a generic extender, you can play like one other Allure Queen monster in your deck, and then you summon this, and then you summon yourself a level 7, and also you bring out a Allure Queen monster from the deck, so you just have a lot of bodies. But also, if you equip something like Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, you have yourself kind of like a domain lock, because your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck while this card is equipped to any monster. It doesn't have to be equipped to a Buster Blader, but obviously from the hand, you can only equip it to a Buster Blader. But this card equips it from the graveyard, so yeah, if you can send it with Protector Whelp, which is a super generic Link 2 monster, it's really just 2 Link monsters. On the Link summon, you send a Destruction Sword card from your deck to the grave, so you can send this, Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, and then you equip it back with Chaotic Allure Queen, which should be relatively easy to have access to. You can Celine revive this card back. So if you're playing a deck that just mills a lot, or, I don't know, searches a lot, or just always tutors certain cards, this could be a very, very scary combo for you. Because again, you can be under Dark Ruler, Droplet, whatever, it's not gonna matter if your opponent can still not summon from the extra deck. And for the cards that I don't think you should be investing on, because I think they're just gonna be getting worse and worse over time. Flamberge, this card will most likely get banned. So, even though I don't really necessarily think that it should, I think Original should be getting banned instead. I'm not even, like, that, you know, firm on that belief, honestly. If Flamberge gets banned, I think it'll be 100% understandable. But yeah, honestly, just tell your Snake Eye deck right now, it is destined for failure. It has no future, honestly. Same thing with Wanted. This card is also getting reprinted in the Megatins, so it's already kind of getting cheaper and cheaper, and it's just a matter of time before it's gonna completely tank. SP Little Knight is a card that I think should be retaining a decent amount of value, even though obviously it's gonna draw by a significant you know, amount once we get the Megatins. It's still gonna be like maybe half, so it's probably gonna be like $40 or something, and the original version is still gonna be maybe like 60 or something. Right now I think it's like 80 something. It used to be like 100, so I forgot, but whatever. Obviously, it's different because I have Canadian currency, so you know, American currency is completely different. Like the conversion is like 1.35. But yeah, you know, SP Little Knight is that kind of card that I think if you have right now, probably a better idea to just sell, and then in the future you just get back off of the Megatins. It's just better value, especially if you don't really want to play the game and just take a break until we get the Megatins. I think it's gonna be in September, October, I forgot, maybe later than that. And finally, Chaos Angel and Imseti are in the same boat, so yeah, these cards are also getting a reprint, and they're worth a lot of money. Apparently, this is like $40 or something, and Chaos Angel is expensive for absolutely no good reason. Not even that many decks need to play the card. It's very unfortunate. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know if I've missed anything in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.